Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Times the Morning After Show. My name is Roy Pogrzowski. I'm your host of the show here at Good Times Comedy Club, located in downtown Lethbridge. For those that are just joining us, this is a new club in the downtown. It's a new comedy club. We opened up January 5th, which was really exciting. And one of the performers we had on there will be our guest for today's show, Renee Manners, who was here performing last night. But I'll get into that more in detail when I have her on here. Also, I'd like to thank our sponsor, All-in-One Digital Media, for the mimosas this morning. We're classing it up here on Good Times the Morning After Show with some nice Sunday morning brunchish mimosas. I'm very excited to get into that. That was Renee Manners' request. We fulfilled her request, and we've even got compliments orange juice. So the good stuff, I suppose. But further to that, I want to just do the weekly recap. So on Wednesday of this week, we opened with 50 Shades of Grey's Anatomy trivia. We had our best turnout, which was really exciting. And next week, we're doing New York City sitcom trivia. So we're doing How I Met Your Mother. We're doing Friends, and we're doing the other show. There's a third one there, but I forget it right now. But anyway, it's New York City sitcoms. I think you'll really enjoy it. So get your friends, bring them out, have some fun at Good Times here. John does amazing work with the trivias. It's very interactive, and plus you get his comedy stylings, which is really exciting. Thursday night we had our open mic night, which is taking off slowly. We'd certainly like more people to come out to enjoy. We get a lot of new comics, which is really exciting, to hit the stage and try out their material, So if you want to try comedy, this is a good venue and a good stage to do it. A lot of supporting comics are around, and you get your 2 to 3 minutes to start, and you build from there. So make sure you invite your friends. Please come out Thursday night to open mic comedy night. Friday night was our roast battle, which was really exciting. So we roasted off. We had a few comics come in. One came in from Saskatoon, Matt Dunleavy, and he was amazing. He went on the guitar and he did some like Adam Sandler type music. He just wowed the crowd. We had an amazing turnout. Lakshjeet Gill won again, so he's the two-time defending champion. There was some controversy against Brian Daviduke. I think people think that Brian should have won, so we had a bit of controversy at the roast battle, which is always exciting. But in the end, Lakshjeet is the two-time winner, so you have to come out to the next roast battle and check it out. He squared off in the finals against Randy Webb, whom you also may know in the scene, which was really exciting. So great turnout for the roast battle. And then on Saturday, or last night actually, we had from Fort McMurray, originally from Surrey, as you can hear a lot in her act. We learned a lot about Surrey last night, which was great. Was our headliner, Renee Manners. I had the pleasure of meeting with her in Fort McMurray. She actually picked me up from the airport, took me to this bar that was just filled with a plethora of dudes. And we had a Stella Artois and chatted a little bit about stuff. I got to meet one of her friends as we attempted a live video. He was very wanting to be in the live video, so that was also exciting. And then opening for her was Dale Ward from Calgary. Really, really funny comic as well. Amazing stuff. So that was really cool to see. Local Jordy Bott was the host of the show, and John did a little guest appearance, one of his like little rap comedy things that are fairly funny. And here we are the morning after to talk about it. So without further ado, I'd like to invite my guest for the show, the very funny Renee Manners. So Renee, welcome. Well, oh, ooh, look at that. All right. So there we are, Renee Manners, everybody. Maybe here we'll squeeze my way a bit. Nice. It's a fun. So we got the mimosas. Let's do this here.
You need a mimosa on Sunday, I think.
That's a good call. Like normally everyone's just like, yeah, get a beer. Look at that.
You can put orange juice in beer too.
You can.
That's good.
Yeah, you can put it in like a citrusy beer, like
they
a
call
white
it
beer.
OJ.
A Boj. So how much do we go with here? You're the expert.
Well, like I think it's like I don't know, half and half. I'm gonna take less.
Less? Nice.
Well, I'm not feeling great. You guys probably can't hear my voice. Are you serving it? Or should I? Is it 50-50?
50-50. Go pour the orange juice. Look at this. Oh, that's a solid pour of the orange juice. Very exciting.
This guy's pretty stingy.
And the Prosecco we got, sponsored by All in One Digital Media, is Valdobiadine Prosecco. So very, sounds fancy. Very classy. Oh, thanks, Renee.
I do virgin mimosas at my place with my little guy.
Oh, cool. Virgin mimosas.
Yeah, we use like sparkling peach drink or whatever. It's really delicious.
That's awesome. Wow. So yeah, so here, well, that's pretty cool. So I got some questions for Renee that you probably all wanted to answer. We have to be quite loud to hit the live stream.
How's this?
That's perfect. Look at that. That's perfect. And so, the first question that I like to ask everyone who comes on the show, outside of cheersing the mimosa.
You have to take a drink.
Oh,
and
yes.
you always look in the eyes when you cheers.
Right, because you're going to tell me it's bad luck sex if I don't do that.
I learned that when I was young.
Oh.
Somebody that was a lot older than me, so I just took it for
Absolute
advice.
truth.
Which makes sense. So you're supposed to make eye contact, and then you're always supposed to drink right after. Apparently, it's like disrespectful if you're just like, yeah, hey, right?
That's true.
It's
That,
like the connect, like.
well, and coming from like our German folklore family, like they say, if you avert your eyes, you have 7 years bad luck sex.
Oh, I'm already 4 years. My sentence is half done.
So in like 4 years,
3
you will,
yeah.
3 years,
Yeah.
you will be able to have decent,
Yeah.
probably still pretty bad sex.
By then my carpal tunnel will be crippling and I'll just be cut off. So it's just like.
Oh my god. Well, and this segues from what Renee was talking about her bit last night. But I'll ask you, we'll get into some real questions
Yes.
before we get into the dirty stuff. So, Renee, like, I ask every comic that comes on the show this first question, because I'm curious. I think a lot of people are also curious. But like, what in the world made you want to get into stand-up comedy?
Well, I kind of did it by accident. So people have told me all the time that I should do comedy or that I was funny, and I'm sure that's what everybody's answer is. And I remember when I was in grade 7, my art teacher asked us to do up a business card, and I did a comedy business card, and it was like a red brick wall with a microphone, and it said, "What's so funny?" "Oh yeah, me." And that was my comedy. Like, I guess I wanted to do it my whole life. But I had to wait, like I said before. I have a lot of incriminating comedy, so I had to wait till the people that would have got in trouble for that were no longer here. So I had to hold off before I started telling everybody all my Surrey life stories. But actually how I did get into it, so we evacuated from Fort McMurray, and not to go like super heavy, but before that I had lost my mother to a drug addiction and my stepdad as well, and my my biological father to cancer, so I had gone through a lot of grief. And then I went through a separation as well. So I experienced a ton of grief, and I didn't know what to do with the depression. And I knew what it was like to have a mother that didn't love herself. So I started to research what I was going through and how to combat these feelings and what was going on. And I couldn't find an answer, a solution. Like, I would feel some relief with some things. Like, I did a lot of exercise and ate healthy, and that helped. But I would go to like psychics, mediums, therapists, counselors. Like, I tried, I rented a saxophone. I tried like just to try to do anything to get rid of this like fuzziness and this talking that was going on all the time. And then my my stepsister's mom, who had been through her fair share of like pretty horrendous grief, gave me this book called The Grief Recovery Method. Grief Recovery Method. They should teach it in schools. It is a general, logical education on what grief is. You'd be really surprised what you think it is. It is not. It teaches you what grief is. It teaches you how to recognize it in your life. And then it teaches you how to close each situation down one at a time. So our grief is like when you have a computer and you open a window and open a window and open a window, but they never get closed. And you have to close each thing individually.
Right, and separately too. Like you
Yeah.
can't treat it all.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a process at first because you would have never done it. But the way that they do it, it's a very safe, comfortable process. So they don't make you like it's really easy. Everybody should get that book. So it affected my life so much that I went and bought every copy I could get my hands on and gave it to everybody that I knew a couple times, because when we had the fire, a few friends, their houses burned down, and I got them new copies. It affected my life so much that I actually went to Los Angeles and got certified as a grief recovery specialist.
That's
so
awesome.
that I could help other people. And then when we were evacuating, I was driving away, and my city was on fire, and all I could think was how this was going to affect people. This was a massive trauma that people they didn't know what it was going to do to them. And all I could think was like, I gotta help these people, I gotta teach these people what they're gonna go through. I knew it was gonna cause suicides, divorces, bankruptcies, addictions. Like, it was a big, heavy thing for all of us to deal with. Some more than others. Like, some people lost their homes, their family homes. Like, Fort McMurray, people are there for the long haul, right? So when I got back to Fort McMurray, I created this event called the Spomedy. So I did in-home spas, and I would teach people how to de-stress themselves for free in their own homes with like hot socks and a hot face cloth and some breathing, like super easy.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I wanted to create an event. Like, you ever go through a breakup or a really hard time and your friends like drag you out to the bar and you go party and you have fun?
I wish.
John! Yeah.
Come on, man!
You never would have done that on your own, but they drag you out and you're so pumped about it. So I just wanted to create an event like that at Fort McMurray, and I just booked the venue and made a poster and hung it up, and I didn't really know what was going to happen. We filled the theater with 350 people. It was all women. We catered to them. We put a whole bunch of artwork up. We had it musician. We had drink specials, and then we gave them bags of spa products, and we spa'd them. There's 300 people in this theater, and then I just talked about my life, and people laughed, and then from there it was just like, hey, you should try amateur night. Hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this. And I still am getting messages from people about how that night changed their lives. And so that's a short story on how I got into comedy.
Well, let me follow that up, because I had a unique conversation with Renee on our way from the airport to 2 closed bars, and then finally a open bar.
Never give up.
And then we went to the one bar at my hotel. It's a funny story, and there was this group of people outside. They're like, "Woo, go to Showgirls!" And I was like, "Renee, what's?" I mean, I should have clued in, but I'm like, "What's Showgirls?" And it was amateur night, and we thought the girl might be going there to perform. But that's another story. But
yeah, it's a strip club.
It's right. And I said, so when I was talking with Renee, I said to her, I'm like, tell me more about this story, because Renee's a self-proclaimed hustler. So tell me how you sold those, because your first headlining gig is very unconventional.
Yeah.
Because, tell the story, because you like hustled tickets and you filled the room, but you had never really done stand-up to any degree. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I didn't ever think that I could have done stand-up, because I thought stand-up was writing jokes. And my humor comes from wit. And like my mannerisms are comical, apparently. I don't know.
They are.
I just talk and people laugh at me.
Yeah, that's true. That was last night. That was awesome.
So I was like, there's no school. There's no, like, all the education I had was from other people telling me what to do. And a lot of the information is contradictory. Is that right?
Contradictory, hypocritical.
Like, well, not hypocritical, but like one person will tell me this thing and one person will tell me this thing, and they're complete. And I was like, okay. And then I just did like I wanted to become a public speaker. I would love to educate people. I'd love to go to schools. I love working with kids. So I've always done tons of reading and research on public speaking, entrepreneurship. And I was like, what's the difference between this and, right? My job is to entertain people. I want them to leave after they see me, like, just thinking I want them all to go home and do it.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to just have like such a great time that they're just in the mood to nail their significant others. Like,
nice.
You know what I mean though? You know when you just have such a great time, you got nothing to complain about?
It's true. I think last night you put a few people into the mood to want to strike hard.
And then probably out of the mood, and then back into the mood.
Right, yeah, there was a few stories there where I'm sure they were like, whoa! Yeah. But that being said, so like, that's what I admire about you most, is you hustled for a room, you headlined it, you said that it didn't go as well as you'd hoped.
Yeah.
And then you had to deal with the aftermath of like maybe some disappointed people, because you weren't polished in headlining.
Which show is this?
The one that you were talking about where you like sold a bunch of tickets, headlined for 45 minutes, but you'd never headlined before. And then it was like a 45-minute show, and you weren't as polished as you'd hoped to be.
I don't remember.
Didn't you like sell a bunch of the tickets to your own headlining show?
No.
in Fort Mac?
Well, we've done that, but all the shows were awesome.
Oh, so then maybe I misinterpreted the story. Yeah.
The first headlining gig I did for free for Some Other Solutions is our crisis center in Fort McMurray.
Okay.
And that filled up.
Right.
I actually just got a message on my phone last night from a lady saying that it changed her life.
Wow. So that's pretty. When you can do stand up and like change someone's life,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing.
She had just lost her daughter and she didn't want to come out, and somebody asked her to come out, and it was the first time she had laughed and laughed hard, and they ate and had fun, and I was like, wow, that's really heavy, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love when people share that stuff with me though, because it just it tells me that I need to keep going.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, last night, I mean, it was. You were awesome last night. It was super funny. I sat in for both shows. Well, the second show I kind of listened from the back room, but I came out for a bit. But I watched the first show and with a friend of mine, and it was so awesome. Like you and Dale complimented each other so well.
Yeah, I'm pumped that he said yes. Dale's from Calgary. I met Dale because he came up to Yuck Yucks.
Oh, nice.
And I watched the show, and he was like, "Do you want to do like a couple minutes?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then the next time he came up, he contacted me. He's like, "Hey, I'm in town. You want to come back up?" So I was like, I'm asking him to open for me. Like, I hope he says yes. He's such a wonderful guy and such an awesome traveler and like great conversation. Like, it's such a peculiar thing to just get in a vehicle with somebody you hardly know for like 3 hours and then stay in a like we know each other really well now. Like,
I know. Well, and I think John he said last night he apologized. You guys had to share a room.
Well, it's fine. Like, there was two. Like, it's a suite. Like, it was great. The hotel room was beautiful. Thank you very much. Like, I'm a pretty adaptable human being. I've been in way worse situations, right? Like, I don't think it was. It's just like, it's just interesting how you're just forced to like
get to know someone. Essentially.
And like, luckily, it's been a good experience so far.
That's amazing. Well, and let me ask you a question. Last night, like your comedy, like I love it because it's raw, it's real, it's authentic comedy. It's like you're not holding anything back, really. And so, like being tell me about your experience, like being a woman in comedy, because there's not a lot of women in comedy. Like you go to open mic nights, you do anything. It's like a lot of men.
Yeah.
And so I just want to ask you, like, what's your opinion? Like, you're so raw and authentic. Like, do you ever get feedback? Like, what? Tell me about that experience.
I have gotten feedback from a couple people where like I'm too vulgar or too raunchy, and then I scaled back a little bit, but then I got sad. You know what I mean? So I tried to like adapt to what people wanted, but that's not who I am. So I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot, and it's just super important to me that I'm authentic to who I am.
Yeah.
And for the first time in my life, I feel completely accepted as who I am in comedy. So like I've always like people have always been like, "What's wrong with you?" or like, "Shh," like, and I'm like, "What?" Like I don't know what's wrong. What do you? I'm a good person. I clean up garbage. Why can't I talk about farts? Like,
yeah, farts.
Right? Like I don't understand. I'm not. So to be able to like be congratulated and like high-fived about telling stories that really happened in my life that are typically unacceptable.
Well, and what I loved the most was
it.
when you were like, and I'm not giving anything away with this, but one thing that I loved, and there was like a catchphrase you did twice where you were like, "What's worse?"
Oh,
like this situation or this situation. I laughed all the time with that.
And I think that I think it's really important. Like I would love to create a ripple effect of like vulnerability and people like being natural. I'm a perfect example of, I can't say for all women, but my experience as a woman of what's real, like what we really go through, and society and media portray us as these and it's so unrealistic. Like it's like I'm like a baby giraffe. I just fall everywhere, and like it's not like that's not real.
That's so true.
So I like sharing what's real.
Well, and I love that. That's what I love about the comedy is like you come in and you're like, okay, what are we gonna get here? But you're so authentic and real that I think people definitely appreciate that. I could feel a lot of appreciation last night, and that's the thing. Like you're right. Society for both men and women have this unrealistic expectation, but more so for women, of like who the perfect person is, and it's all based on physicality. And it's based on like being the proper gender, like gendered properly.
Yeah.
Like if you're not like a manly man, you
Yeah.
get criticized for being too sensitive or too,
Yeah.
too feminine. And then if you're like a woman, you've got to meet these societal expectations
Yeah.
that are unrealistic.
Yeah, and
You know?
like, what are they? What are they there? What are they there for? Like, why? I just don't understand why people just aren't themselves. Like, eventually you'll find your group. It's 2019. There's Facebook groups for anything. Like,
Yes.
you can be
There
yourself. It's way more fun that way. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to.
And if there isn't a Facebook group, you can create it.
Exactly.
And you can just be like, that's my group.
Exactly. We're at a perfect time in society to be able to be yourself.
Yeah.
And to be real and to be raw, because there's other people there that, like, when you're vulnerable, and I don't have a problem being vulnerable because it doesn't affect me, and other people feel safe.
Yeah, they do. And I think people, like, audience can really see the authenticity of a comic, like, and I appreciate that. I don't know about, like, other people, but, like, what I appreciate about comedy is when I see the real person come out. And
Yeah,
I'm not,
me too.
yeah, I'm not saying that that's how they are every day of their life. It's just like,
Then you can connect to them, then you want to listen to them.
yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even consider myself a comic. I would just consider myself Renee, and somebody gave me a microphone. I do learn and try to, like, but really I'm just talking about my life and how ridiculous it's been.
And it's been quite a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Surrey to McMurray. Yeah, you can use that. That's pretty cool.
Okay, you guys just heard that I got permission, right?
I thought that was good. That rhymes. I mean,
I'm gonna make that as a t-shirt.
From Surrey to McMurray.
Yeah.
Your journey from Surrey to McMurray.
Is that my book?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Written in crayon?
My journey from Surrey to McMurray. And then talk about it all, man.
Yeah.
Talk about the funny, the
And how not
tragic.
different it is.
Yeah. It's the same place,
Yeah.
same journey,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
different locations.
Yeah.
So Renee, tell me about, every comic's had that moment, they tell a joke, crickets, and you're like, ooh, that didn't hit. Tell me, like, about the worst time that you've bombed on stage, and how did you recover? Like, when the crowd just went, how'd you flip the crowd when they weren't on your side?
The one time where I felt like uncomfortable and didn't know what to do was like my second time doing comedy. And I went to Edmonton and I went to this club and it was a little bit more like fancy and it was pretty big and everyone was scattered around and they just stared at you. And there was a light and I was pretty intimidated. So I got up and I was like, I'm just gonna tell these jokes that everybody loves, and everyone just stared at me. So I was just like, I just said Surrey like 1,000 times. I'm like, so Surrey, so I'm from Surrey. So you guys heard of Surrey? Anybody heard of Surrey? And then I was like, I don't know what, and then I was like, I'm just gonna, Surrey. Like it was, so I was like, that was brutal. But
Just yell Surrey.
yeah, like I
whenever
didn't
you
even
go back.
realize what I was doing. I was so intimidated and like everyone was just staring at me like, you guys laugh. And then all I could think is like, thank God this isn't the medieval times because I would have get killed. Like if
Yeah.
I'm a jester trying to make my
Yeah,
thing laugh,
you'd
right?
be
Like
dead, yeah.
thank God I can just like leave instead of like, hanger.
See, like in the history of comedy, you just made a good point. Like historically in comedy, like comedy started off with like make me laugh or die.
Yeah.
The
so
bar was pretty high.
good. Yeah.
I think those jesters, like although it was very like gendered, they were male jesters.
Yeah.
You know, they paved the way for like non-death in comedy.
Yeah.
There was a time in the comedy spectrum where they were like, you can't kill the comic anymore.
Yeah.
There's human
Give
rights.
him another chance.
Give him one more chance. Like he bombed, he was new.
Like
you
imagine
know.
amateur nights back in the day.
Oh God. No. The king would have been like,
Yeah.
oh, dead.
And also, like, I've bombed my whole life. I say inappropriate stuff at inappropriate times all the time. Like, I remember one time I was working at Red Lobster. I moved to Calgary and I got a job at Red Lobster. And I was only there for a couple days. And I was hanging, I was working with everybody and somebody dropped like a hand of crab. And I picked it up and I like pretended to scratch my crotch. And I was like, I'm itchy, ha ha. And everyone just like stared at me and I was like, oh. I'm like, too soon? Like, I don't have.
Too soon.
Yeah, like you guys don't know me well enough yet. That was right. Like, shouldn't have done that.
I thought it was like too soon for crabs. Like
No.
crabs that just came out, and it was like too soon. Like we just learned about crabs.
Like, I just don't understand the social. Like, and then everyone's like, oh, we're going to a party, and I'm like, I'm going. And I just invited myself to this party with all these people I just started working with, and showed up with like two huge cans of beer, and then I spent the night asking everybody if they noticed my huge cans.
Nice,
Like,
nice.
and
Yeah,
they, like
yeah.
and I've moved all my life. Like every couple of months I've moved. Sometimes I was accepted and popular and cool, and other times I was a total loser. Like, so I have been being prepared to bomb my whole life. Like, I'm like, okay, like I'm not accepted here. I'll just
So like, but like, how
try
do
to save
you?
all the worms.
So you've bombed like personally, like we all have. Like
Yeah.
I've said some things where just everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
But like, so outside of like the bombing personally, like if you feel a crowd is not with you, like Fort Mac, I think they love you. I think you got a following there.
Yeah.
But like you go to Edmonton, you go to Calgary, you come to Lethbridge, where a lot of people don't really know you.
Yeah.
How do you? And I don't know if you've ever had this experience. Like this was a question that was asked to Brian David last week. Is say that it's not going well.
Yeah.
What's your go-to to flip it? Like
Oh,
where
well,
do
I
you
have
flip?
a couple of good ones, but I work with kids, so my nature is quick. So I'll work with the crowd, I'll start asking questions, and then it'll trigger. So I try to pay attention to what they're laughing at. So if the crowd is laughing at like fart and boner jokes, I'll go fart boner. But if they're laughing at like kid stuff, or a little bit more, if they're liking the more cleaner stuff, then I'll talk more about like working with kids or stuff like that. So I just try to build relationships with people, and I try to.
I like the fart and boner jokes. John always tells me too. Like that's good. I appreciate that you're on the fart and like you've mentioned a few poop jokes, which was good. My brother always gives me advice. He's like, Roy, stay away from the fart and poop jokes. Like people don't want to hear about it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Poop is like way fun.
Yeah, if you deliver it properly,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I don't want to come across as gross or crude.
Right.
I want to come across as real. And these are true stories that have happened to me, right? Like,
Your reality and poop, I love it.
yeah, so I'm like, this is like the story about karma. Like that was a true story. Like I was mad. I'm like, no, do it yourself. Like I'm not helping you.
That's
like,
awesome.
I was angry with her.
So you've probably been asked this quite a bit. Like, what advice would you give to? Because I don't know if comics in Fort McMurray like at open mic night are trying to like ask, but like, what advice would you give to new comics in the scene that would ease their mind about it? Because they're gonna suck at first.
I'll give the same advice that I gave with giving birth. It's not as hard as you think it's gonna be.
That's a tagline. That's gonna be in the book. My journey from Surrey to McMurray.
It's not as hard as you think it's gonna be. Just do it.
That's what
Be
she
like
said.
Nike. Yeah.
That's what she said. I have to do it.
Yeah. Just be like Nike. Just do it.
Just
Just
do
try. What's the worst that can happen? I'm always like, you always gotta ask. Always ask for a discount. The worst that they'll say is no, and you're in the same boat as you're in already.
Explain that. What do you mean ask for a discount?
Everywhere I go, I ask for a discount.
Are you serious?
Everywhere.
And do you get it sometimes?
Mostly.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy awesome.
You make friends with people.
Yeah, that's true.
Another thing too, when you guys are out for like if you're out at a restaurant or somebody's serving you, I'll be like, what side can I get? And they're like, fries, mashed potatoes, salad, Caesar salad, rice, fries. And they're like, how many times a day do you say that? And then you can see they like 100. Like they just become like a real person.
Yeah.
Right? People, especially now everybody's on their phones, like connect with people, build relationships with them. They wanna, and I'm like, hey man, can I get be in a cool awesome discount? Like, and they're like, let me see what I can do. If they say no, I'm still where I was.
Yeah.
If they say yes, then and then like some girl gave me a tip last night. I'm like, you don't need to give this to me. She's like, oh, I want you to have it. I'm like, okay.
That's pretty cool.
So then Dale went down for breakfast. I'm like, here, leave this on the table for a tip. Like money's fluid. It's supposed to. If you give it away, it comes back, right?
Of course. When you said something that resonated with me, because we were having a conversation about life in your truck in a very cold day.
Yeah.
And you said the universe will provide. That was your tagline you told me.
Yeah.
You were like, the universe will provide. Because I asked you, I'm like, because you do so many different things. And you just seem to do it and get it done.
Yeah.
And I was super impressed by that. And you were just like, the universe will provide.
Yeah. If you put your foot out, something will come up and you'll step on it.
Nice.
Unless you die, what else are you gonna do?
Well, people fear homelessness.
Build a hut.
That's true.
Like,
You
you know
could
what
build
I
a hut.
mean? If you're homeless, you don't have any bills.
Yeah.
a job, you know, like,
Yeah.
unless you die, what do you,
Yeah.
are you just gonna be like, oh, now what? Like,
Right.
you gotta,
But that's what people fear. They fear. Here's the thing. We've all.
it's easier than people think.
It is like, well, you're right.
You can have a life that you love.
Of course. But we've all come to a level where we've become purchasers, consumers.
Yeah.
And we all are scared to lose that level. Like we consider struggle in Canada when we can't afford a GoPro 5. Do you see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous, essentially.
I'm saving up for the 6.
The 6, right, yeah, the Hero 6.
I'm all about like whatever deal I can get. Like everyone's like, oh, sweet fanny pack. I'm like, got it for $1 at like
That was a sweet
a
fanny
thrift
pack.
store. It's on right now.
Yes. This fanny pack, it was pretty, do you mind if is that like your thing?
Yes.
I can't
You
spoil
gotta
it.
buy
Yeah,
tickets.
you gotta buy tickets for it. I can't spoil it, but
At good times.
let's just say she's got like a really cool fanny pack. Like it's not colored though. I'm like,
Oh,
it
it's
doesn't have-
authentic leather.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Look at this. I got it from a thrift store. This is old. This belongs to some guy in the 80s with a mustache for sure.
That's the fanny pack dance.
Yeah.
That was like, I'm so proud of my fanny pack.
I love it. I'm like, people are like, nice fanny pack. I'm like, look, I can dance. Like, why wouldn't you have a fanny pack?
Well, but like fanny packs,
They're
like
making a comeback.
back, they are for sure. They're
Yeah.
like the apple bottom jeans.
I don't know what those are.
They're the jeans with like the bottoms that like flail.
Oh.
But like, so everything makes a comeback. Like big
Yeah.
glasses. Like when I was
Yeah.
young, I had big glasses, not cool.
Okay.
Now, big glasses, super cool.
It's the worst where you're like chasing that.
Yes.
So like you had like when I was a kid, I had an undercut.
Yes.
And then the undercuts came into style. I'm like, damn it. Like
Well-
it wasn't cool when I had it, but now it is.
Right, and I think Dale had kind of a bit of an undercut.
He's got his.
He's got a really stylish one.
Yeah,
but you can
he's
tell
got-
he pays for that haircut.
He's a stylish dude. He's really funny.
Yes.
Dale gave me some really good advice the first time that I ever did comedy with him. He used to have like a crazy big beard and long hair. And I was like, well, why'd you cut it? And he said that somebody told him that if you have your face covered, it's like a costume. People can't relate to you.
Right. That actually makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, so like I have a hat that I love, and I'm like, okay, I'm not wearing my hat. I'm not wearing like, I try to be natural and real and.
Yeah, well, and I loved it too because you guys were out here greeting folks as they left, which is
Yeah.
really nice because that's what we kind of set this booth up for.
Yeah.
Was to come out and like greet people and say,
Yeah.
hey, because we want to have a lot of the comics come back.
Yeah.
We want to build a following of comics that people really like, with new material. And so that was really cool of you guys to like step up and like say goodnight to everybody.
Yeah.
But going back to the fanny pack.
Oh.
So like when the fanny pack went out of style was when we realized that people couldn't clip it from you. So like, you remember that? Yeah, that
yeah.
became a real big thing where people were like unhooking it while you were just like,
Yeah.
I unhooked it, I now have
Okay.
all your money. And then people got scared because in our society we just get really scared
Yeah.
and we
I
abandon.
could see that. It would just flip. So my clip broke, so I actually have mine tied into a knot, and I have to get into it like a pair of pants.
See, that's cool.
So that's I didn't even know I solved the problem.
It's a pull-on fanny pack.
Yeah. Like I was like, okay, I gotta go to Dale, and I'm like, see you later. He's like, okay.
And to be honest with you, I would love to just rock like a fluorescent green fanny pack.
Do it.
But again, like I
Start
have
the
the fear
trend.
of citizens. Like they're like, man,
People
someone's
that
gonna
are
clip it.
oh, yeah, that's true.
That's my
I thought you
fear.
meant like judgment. People
No,
that are
no.
judgmental, it's coming from their inside. Give them a hug.
It's insecurity.
They need love.
Right.
People that are judgmental need love.
There you go. There you have. We're learning a lot here from Renee's future book that's
I'm
going to
such
come
a
out
mom.
at TBD.
Love each other.
At a time TBD.
Maybe the front cover of my book will just be a VHS tape.
Nice. Yes. That's an inside. You
From
guys-
Surrey to
yeah.
McMurray.
From Surrey to McMurray. Yes. So I got another final comment here. We really appreciate everyone tuning in and sharing the video and viewing it. Renee, final question before we down these mimosas and
Who
bid
got-
you
who
farewell.
got these for us again?
This is all-in-one digital media.
Thank you, All-in-One Digital Media.
Yes, this is Jeremy McPherson. He's an amazing guy. They have a downtown business, and he's just awesome. He's like, it's a cheap advertisement, especially if the show takes off. Like, if it like takes off and one
Maybe
day.
it has.
Well, no, well, I'd say like it's getting there.
I look forward to it every Sunday when I'm having mimosas at home.
Well, nice. Ooh, I'm flattered. But moving on to our final question for Renee, and this, some of our audience has questions, but what's next for you? Like say, what's your 5-year plan? Like,
Well, ideally, so my goal is to educate the world on grief recovery through comedy. I think it's imperative that we recognize what our feelings are and how I think that's the stem of addiction. So because I lost my mom to addiction, I want to make sure that I'm doing what I can on the planet. So I would love to do like comedy shows and like big massive events and hide some grief recovery in the shows, you know what I mean? So people leave educated. My goal is to book the Orpheum in Vancouver for 2020. That's my 2020 vision.
wow.
It's my laptop backdrop, so I see it every day. And then I just want to make the world a better place. I just want to make it easier to be yourself. I want to make it easier to be normal on whatever platform I'm meant to do that on. Hopefully it's comedy because it's super natural and fun for me. I feel like I'm in like my most perfect,
Yeah.
like it suits me so
You're
perfectly.
very calm and like relaxed in it.
Yeah, I'm a night owl. I love having freedom. I like traveling. It just hits. I love meeting new people. Like there was a whole front row of people that I met last week, or last time I was here at Hudson's. I went out. I was all the guys, so I made friends with some ladies. I was like, you guys, I'm here. I'm the only girl. Will you be my friends? And I made friends with these really super cool chicks. And I was like, awesome. This is awesome. Now next time when I come back, I have some friends. So I'm like, I love coming up here and like waiting for people. I want to meet new friends and come here all the time.
You want a bit more prosecco?
No, I'm
You're
good.
good.
I'm not. You take it. Thanks. You want some orange juice?
No, I'm good with my orange juice. I think I'm gonna taste heavy prosecco. No, I appreciate that. So Renee, like I know for me and John, like we'd love to have you back here, and to be able to come in and do more shows and good times, right?
Great name.
But it was funny because at the end of both of Renee's sets last night, and I think this one I could share because I don't think it's a regular end to your set, unless it is.
Yeah, you can share it.
Yeah,
Well, so I do want to get into like business or greeting cards, and
that's a great greeting card. Like
Yeah.
that's like your risque greeting card, like a picture of.
that's normal though. We're all the same. Tragically have said it. We're all the same.
Yes, but what you painted on there made me and John feel insecure.
Oh.
We were even talking about it. We're like, dang, that's a fine piece. Pun intended. But, so I'll reveal it.
People that really know me know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So Renee left us with a pretty cool gift. She revealed it with a nice saying that like, and then she ended with, I hope this place has happiness. Revealed the painting, and it was a very well endowed, very erect penis. A painting of a penis, which fits the cushion of a penis we have in the room. Like, I talked to the guys,
Yeah.
like, this is turning into a penis room.
I was like, oh, maybe this is a little bit too forward, and then we walked in, that pillow was there. I'm like, amazing.
I don't even know how the pillow got there.
And then I said, I hope that this is well hung.
And it is well hung.
Yeah.
I think we put
Those
it
are
up
the
there.
only hard times I want you guys to have.
Oh my god. The puns are just flying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just in and out of my mouth.
So it was cool because the crowd, I think, really appreciated the fact that we now have, and it's a very beautiful painting of a fully erect penis.
Yeah, thank God for the internet.
Yes, they got it. That was straight off from a Google image, I believe. Painted freehand on the way on the journey up to Lethbridge. So it's not, it doesn't have as many, I guess, like you said, you missed a few veins.
I didn't get to spend as much time on it that I would have liked to because I thought of it last minute. But it was good for now.
Normally Renee's attention to detail in this regard for art is pretty detailed. So she did say that she has to come back.
I'll bring a better one.
No, either bring a better one or fix a few of the spots you
Yeah,
missed.
there you go.
Key defining
Yeah.
elements.
Yeah.
So everybody, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. I'd like to thank my good friend Renee Manners.
Do you mean that?
I do, yeah. I think now we're good friends.
I think so
Because
too.
we spent time together having a beer at Fort Mac.
Yeah.
We chatted, we bonded, we're here. I'd say good friends.
Thank you.
You know?
I feel the same.
Thanks.
That's
Renee.
the only way I want to be.
It's just good friends.
I just want to make good friends with everybody around the world.
Well, I think we moved from like hey, acquaintance.
Yeah.
It was like hi.
Yeah.
To like, oh, you're a real person.
Yeah.
You know, you're not like just the person that like came once.
Yeah. Like, hey, thanks
Oh.
for coming. Thanks for coming. We'll love having you here. And
Exactly.
I was like, hey, get to know you a little bit. I
Yeah.
get to know what your job and
Well,
your
I,
family.
well, I can never my family. Yeah. Me and
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, I guess I talked a bit about my mom and my
Yeah,
dad and
yeah.
stuff, and so did you. And it's kind of funny because I didn't make it out to Hudson's that night. I don't, you know, I never really make it out. I closed down here. I'm almost tired.
Yeah. I was tired last night.
Yeah, no, me too. Like after
Yeah.
you guys left, I just took off
Yeah.
home. I was done. But other than that, I'd like to thank Renee for being on the show, taking this time. She's got a long drive back up to Fort Mac. She's gonna drop Dale off in Calgary. Then she's
Yeah.
got a more journey to Fort
I'm gonna
Mac.
pick up my favorite Indian food.
It-
Mahal Express in the Northwest is the best Indian food in Calgary.
wow, Mahal Express is the best in the Northwest.
We're full of these.
I think
Your
I
goal
got a
is
new.
my
Yeah, I
goal.
think we're killing it. We should write
Yeah.
cards together.
Yeah.
Holiday cards.
I want to get a T-shirt made that says "Beards are in" with an arrow pointing down.
Oh wow, that is good.
That's-
So other than that, I'd like to thank Renee. I'd like to thank All-in-One Digital Media, Jeremy McPherson again for sponsoring these wonderful Sunday morning mimosas. And I'd like to say tune in next week where it will be on Saturday at 11 because I will be in Edmonton on Sunday. But I'll be here with the very funny Jordy Bott. Will be on the show, local comedian. So again, I'd like to thank
That's
Renee.
next, and Sean's here too, isn't he?
Sean is here, yeah.
Yeah.
Sean Gramiak is here Saturday night headlining.
He's really funny.
Yes, so get your tickets at www.goodtimesyql.com or come to the door, see Paul, Torsten, John, or Trevor. Get your tickets from those guys.
Yeah.
And let's pack this place, show Sean a good time.
If you guys want this place to stay alive, you have to support it.
That's true. Thanks, Renee.
Yeah, you have to. Buy tickets, show your support. It's only $10.
That's true.
That's a coffee at a fancy place.
That's
or
true.
like 10 coffees where I get my coffees from.
Cool. And I don't have a catchphrase like sign off line yet. I'm still working on that. But let's just say good times morning after.
Hey, thanks. I had a good time.
Me too. Oh, look at
I
that.
think I just coughed in my hand and shook your hand.
Yeah, so it's like
Sorry, I'm not feeling
awesome.